challenging like my parents. Like I paid the price for that. Like I always stood up for what was right, no matter if I would be homeless. So truth is very important to me too. So,
Well, there you go. If truth is important to you and you start pursuing, you start pulling this thread, you're going to end up a flat earther. So good for you.
I'll try. This is what I'll do. I'll do this because it's my day off. I'll go ahead and look at some of that stuff on the server and see if it starts to click for me. I'm sure it'll take
Well,
me a
here,
little while.
I've just sent you two good introduction videos because on the server, it's terabytes of information. You might not know where to start. There's also a channel called FE Introduction Videos, so it's like intro stuff because you're going to need intro stuff if you're totally new to this. So I've just sent you a couple of ones.
Okay.
And yeah, if you've got questions, you can ask. Yeah?
I appreciate it. I'm gonna try to take this a little bit more serious. I've been
You
putting it
should,
off.
because this is the most serious conversation you've ever had, whether you realize it or not. This is the most important conversation going on today. No matter what they're trying to bamboozle you with in the news. Oh, Trump is doing this. He's gonna take Greenland. He's gonna do this and that. That's all bullshit. This is the most important thing that's being spoken about and discussed right now. It's the reason they censor it so hard. It's arguably the reason that everything has ramped up to the level of insanity that it has in the last few years, coincidentally, as people are starting to question this. So they're trying to distract you with everything under the sun so that you don't
They
look into
call
this
they
topic.
call flat earthers retards all the
Yeah, of
time.
course they do. Of course they do. They have to. But do you know what they don't do? They don't debate us. They don't come and provide globe proof. They just call us names. And is that a good
Yeah.
argument? No, it's not. I actually love it. I love that they're just calling us names. You couldn't give us more of an obvious concession that we're right. Everyone that
Yeah,
comes
so
through here,
that makes sense. It would be like the equivalent of somebody calling me a whore just because I said the truth, but they just call me a whore as like a just to
yeah,
put me
they're just trying
down.
to demean you. Yeah, exactly. They're just trying to dismiss you as a person instead of addressing the content of your position. That's exactly what it is. And they're trying to do it in such a way that other people see it and they say, well, I don't want to be called a retard. I don't want to be called a whore. So even though I'm curious, I'm just going to be quiet. They want to bully you. They're banking on you being scared. Don't be scared.
Yeah.
Can I want to point something out real quick.
Oh,
A
Windy,
big,
what's up, Indio?
what's up? Not only do they call you stupid and you're retarded if you think the earth is flat, on the flip side is you can't understand it unless you're really smart and you're a scientist. So tell me how you square that circle of contradiction.
Oh, I don't. What was your question?
India's paradox of borrowed intelligence.
Yep. The
Oh,
paradox.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
try
it's
and make it.
paradox.
They try and make the globe almost impenetrable to the average person. So they'll dress it up with fancy mathematics so that most people look at it and they go, "Well, how could I question it? I don't understand the maths." But it's a false garb, you know? They're fronting, they're hiding behind theoretical math in the hopes that people don't challenge it. But you can challenge the initial assumptions in that math and say, well, where did you get a radius from? Where did you get a curved ball Earth to begin with? And they fall apart. We get PhD astronomers, physicists, all kinds of people through here, and they just fall apart when you ask them the most fundamental questions. Prove the curvature. Prove that a lake is bending. They can't do it.
yeah. Maybe because it's so big, they don't. Maybe the reason
Nah,
Glovers
because they
believe.
give us the size. They give us the size so we can do the
I
math.
was just going to bring that up too. Like if you ask one of them how much curb is in 10 miles, they won't know. But
Yeah,
it's
they don't
66
know.
but it's 66 feet, right? That's a lot. But they'll just say, well, the earth's just too big. Well, okay, how big is it? I'll tell you how
Yeah,
big it is. 10,
yeah.
66 feet of curb in 10 miles. Really simple. And then it increases exponentially. So, it's not as big as people think it is.
Yeah, and 90%, 99% of the people who believe in the globe don't know that number. They don't know the claimed size of it. They don't know how much it's supposed to curve. It's the flat earthers that know that, which is insane. So
Well, they'll throw satellites at you too. They'll say,
yeah, they'll just beg the
well,
question that they've got
I forgot
little
what that
robots in
was.
space.
Yeah,
Yeah, but then you say, okay, well, where did you see a satellite? Oh, I see it moving through the sky. What do you see? A little light. Okay, how do you know what that is? I saw it on TV. They've got no idea what it is. They've got no idea what it's made of, how big it is, how far away it is. That could be any number of things. But it has to be in their mind this little floating metal box going around a ball because that's the only story they've been given for it. And then we say, well, how do you know it's that? And then they say, well, what else could it be? As if that means it is what they believe. When of course it
yeah,
does. It could be a million other things. So yeah, they've got high altitude communications technologies and stuff like that, but it's not little floating metal boxes flying around a ball Earth. Most of these
yeah,
things are on balloons.
yeah, like the
Like,
damn Chinese balloons.
yeah, the Chinese one, right? That was a little tell. The flat Earth community was laughing at that because most people were like, China's got their satellites on balloons, ha 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 ha. It's like, yeah, that's how all of them are doing it. What do you think
I
Roswell was about?
the car in space. Remember that?
Yeah, the car in space, exactly. The propaganda is laughable. You go back and look at it and you're like, holy shit, how did anyone fall for this? Absolutely insane.
You know how impossible that idea is? Musk said it was just a regular car, that they didn't do anything to it. Man, do you know what would have happened when it got into the vacuum? First of all,
Well,
the seats are interiors are styrofoam. Styrofoam is just like a polymer with a bunch of bubbles blown into it. Every single one of those bubbles would have freaking exploded. The seats would have exploded when as soon as like the cowling came off and it got exposed to the vacuum. Like
yeah,
every piece of plastic in there would have exploded because the plastic has dissolved bubbles inside of it, and all those bubbles would have expanded because of the vacuum, and it would have been a mess. Like that's just
yeah.
one thing. Never mind the tires and like
Yeah,
the fluids and all those things that would have boiled off.
and remember what he said afterwards at the press conference. He said, you can tell it's real because it looks so fake. He's trolling people.
Yeah,
These people are just trolling.
like the celebrities were trolling when they went into space or whatever they called it, and then they came back down and the door opened by itself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's all just a giant propaganda troll. These people are laughing at the people who believe it.
Well,
Do you
it's a
Like
think
big
Rich?
money
the butt
maker.
as a glober, you're the butt of the joke.
The
Yeah,
whole space industry, fiction and nonfiction, you suppose a nonfiction, it's a big money maker. I think Star Wars itself has made over $1 trillion in its lifetime. Now think
that would
about
be
that. Just
can't
Star
believe it.
Wars.
Yeah,
We're talking about everything, right? The franchise, the action figures, the movies, all the stuff associated with Star Wars, the T-shirts, the posters, $1 trillion over its lifetime.
Look into
yeah.
Warhammer and how much those action figures cost, and people buy that shit so that they can play D&D in massive quantity of figures. It's
Yeah,
insane how
there's
much money
good money.
space is worth.
There is good money
It's
in the globe for sure.
I mean, even I
money
have
is
invested
all
money in space, sci-fi films, TV shows,
Yeah, most
all
most
that.
of us here, previously were into sci-fi and that kind of shit. And you still can be. You just have to
I still
realize that
am.
the whole
I
yeah,
still dig
exactly.
that.
I mean that
It's like
exactly.
Lord of the Rings now, though. It's like there's
Oh,
no
exactly.
possibility that it's real.
If anything, it's even better because you don't have to deal with the horror side of being in an infinite, ever expanding killer vacuum. You just know it's all fantasy.
I always was terrified of space because it did seem like such a big
That's the point.
impossibility.
That's the
Yeah,
point. I mean, like, think about it. The entire cosmology that they've told us is a horror show, right? So it's a low level form of like trauma based mind control. Our
yeah. And
whole
astrology
whole
is bullshit
story
too.
The whole story they tell us with the dinosaurs, they were like, at some point, some giant rock just came and smashed into us, killed everything, and that could happen at any point unless you keep giving us, NASA, the government, loads of money. Think about that. So they've
Yeah.
got a low level, everyone who believes in it has this low level idea. They don't think about it day to day, but if you press them, they would say, yeah, it's very possible that a giant rogue rock will just come and wipe us all out. And the only
Yeah.
defense we might have to that is an organization like NASA.
Yeah. And NASA
Like,
would take over if there was a fake alien invasion too. Like
yeah,
I'm always afraid they're gonna pull that crap.
yeah.
They're gonna
Oh, I can't
pull
wait for it. I can't wait for it. The Globies are going to be losing their minds. The aliens are here. Oh my God. And we're going to be
Well, how about
sitting here
the
on
three
Discord
eye,
laughing at them.
the three eye divided by Atlas, the thing that they were talking about 6 months ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it shut
That was detected by a system that they took bids on to bid on a system to detect rogue asteroids that might hit the Earth. This is one of the objects that they detected with this system, right?
Money
But
well
the whole
spent.
thing, yeah, money well spent on a fantasy show. And then
So
you
would
got
you
a Harvard professor saying, "Oh, we detected we detected that like 4 million years ago or some nonsense." Did you hear the latest thing? That some astronomers they went over photographs of the sky that were taken between 1941